Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. We have Raphael Conquista with us again. We're going to be going over a lot of headlines that are happening right now. One of them is the Minneapolis school shooting. Crazy stuff happening. Now, I predicted, and a lot of other people predicted, that we would see school shootings as we move closer to the rest of the deep state. And they're going to unleash everything on us. Now, Trump had said that he was going to clean up the Catholic Church for Melania. So I guess the Luciferians are going to strike back pretty hard. What are your thoughts?
You know, I haven't thought too much about school shootings lately, but I remember during Obama and Biden, the school shootings were off the charts.
Good
And
point.
during Trump's first election, and then again now, relatively very quiet. So I think you're spot on to something that like the deep state is again backed in a corner, and they're the ones behind this because we really didn't see much during any of Trump's tenures,
Yeah.
both the first and recently until here we go. Yeah, tremendous evil. We've seen it like in our area. We had some crazy stuff going on as well.
Yeah, I know in Florida they were going to start to, I don't know, how far they got with it. Educators that had, shooting skills and so forth were like, you go through shooting skills through like concealed carry, and concealed carry you have to go through certain classes, and you have to show that you can actually shoot straight and not do something unsafe with your weapon. So that's that. I don't know how far they got. It should be every school throughout the United States. Of course, in deep blue states, or not even deep blue states, in deep blue cities, because we have red states with deep blue cities, and that's we need to really push this going forward. And I think that President Trump, with his proactive. I had a military roundtable last night, and all of us were talking about how Trump is absolutely crushing the deep state right now by being proactive and putting National Guard and military, federalized National Guard, into all these different hotspots. Chicago probably be in the next one. They're going to resist. We'll see how much that resistance is, but this is the way we win against the deep state. So these school shootings are going to come from the deep state, and they're not going to stop.
Mind control shooters that show up on campus.
Yeah.
You would probably remember this better than me, but do you remember we were kids. I guess you were probably younger than me, so maybe you don't. But remember after there was like this massive shooting in Middle East Israel, and inside of an airport, and then after they had terrorist attacks inside their airports off and on, and then everybody that worked in the airport was like carrying machine guns and stuff, and it just had stopped. Remember that?
I don't remember that now.
And I'm like, that would be the way to manage it in schools as well, that every teacher is now mandated to be highly trained and competent in using their weapons, and it wouldn't happen. It would stop it. But of course, the deep state political establishment wants these gun-free zones so that they can become slaughtering grounds for our babies. Infuriates me.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't imagine, as a dad, I remember when my kids were little in school, they'd be like, "Hey Dad, what if there's a big earthquake? What will you do if there's a big earthquake and the building collapses?" And I'd always, just to reassure him, I'd say, I'll dig until I find you. I'll always find you. And just imagining being a dad or a mom, and you get the news your child got shot at school. Unreal, just unacceptable.
Yeah.
So
I guess the people that get mind controlled easiest are the transgenders, unfortunately. So we have another transgender that has done another school shooting. So this one is Robin Westman, who posted a manifesto on social media just 2 hours ago, including a video showing the words on her gun, her gun, kill Donald Trump. That's deep state all over the place. This is crazy. I mean, if you don't get this at this point, you need to do your own research and really start to get into it.
I think that I know we've talked about his risk before, and we're probably going to touch on it again today, but I see his risk being really high. And looking into some of the prophecies, it looks really grim for him. It breaks my heart. It's very saddening what's going on.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Crazy. And I've seen it, Michael. I think I've mentioned it in my own family, where during Trump's election, a family member would I didn't even vote when Trump won his landslide victory. But a family member would came at me and said, "Are you going to vote for the orange hair guy?" And I said, "Well, probably none of your business, but are you going to vote for Hillary?" And they wouldn't answer, but the hate and stuff that was coming out of them was like, this is satanic. Like they were saying that, they were saying like, death to Trump and death to you. And I'm like, you don't even know my opinion about it. I haven't voiced my opinion about it yet, but they were assuming because I'm believing conservative that I automatically was, it was that hatred, that division.
Yeah. And we have a really informed audience. So Marla Bush here says, so much more going on here than the normies can see. 17 hurt, 2 deceased equals 19 cities to deploy the National Guard to. So yes, it's basically another finger in the eye of the white hats, from the deep state.
Right. Classic. Yeah, good point. Looking at the numerics and the expression of the Satanists, almost like Edomite, but they're Satanists. They hate everything about God and God's kids, and like we've talked about many times, we're under this attack, this assault from them. And Trump is actually destroying it.
Yeah, definitely. Now let's this is going to be, like I said, this is going to be something that's going to continue, guys.
Yeah.
We're just starting into the school year, and we're going to see a lot of this. Now, this is a Catholic school, so again, the Luciferian deep state is going after the religious schools and so forth,
Right.
Because they hate Jesus and God and so forth. So we're going to see that probably happen in more of the cities. Minneapolis. So what Minneapolis? Let me think. Is that the state where Tim? What is this?
I think it is.
The VP for So that's Minneapolis is probably one of those cities. Go ahead and tell us about the prophecies, and I'll do a little research about the 19 cities. We talked about that at military roundtable last night, and we knew there was 19 cities, and I basically guessed a lot of them earlier. I said a lot of people said there's going to be 14 cities that are going to basically be destroyed. I said 17, and Trump is sending National Guard into 19 cities. So I don't know if these numbers are going up or what's going on, but these like I call them the compromised consciousness people.
Yeah.
And they're MK Ultra really hard, like you were talking about. Orange Man bad. It's not Orange Man bad. It's good. It's evil against good, and you're on the side of evil. All right. So yeah, it's very sad.
And it
All right.
goes all the way back, to the garden when the L said, I will, your seed against her seed, these two seed lines. And they've kind of gotten like obscured and lied about. So we're not really sure who's who these days, but it's emerging now who's who, and it's God versus the enemy. Yeah. Yeah, I'll go ahead and share this. I want to share this video to open up the prophecies because I just found this. Whoop, I got to share my screen. Forgot about that. And get the sound. And here we go. This is about a minute and a half play.
Of heart failure.
Doctorate in my field, I see congestive heart failure patients on a daily basis. The reason I know that he has congestive heart failure is because of the swelling in his feet and ankles. The reason I know it's getting worse is because he's sitting behind the desk on camera now. He lashed out against MSNBC for giving him hash about his ankles. This is how we know that something is true, because it gets to Trump. Remember recently where he was talking about going to heaven for some fucking reason? He says, people said I'm not doing very well. I don't think he's talking about the media. I think he's talking about the doctors who are treating him. The only reason his health has been maintained at all is because he has the privilege of getting IV diuretics, spironolactone, Lasix, Bumex, something like that. That's why his hands have been bruised and covered with makeup. Badly, I might add. We know that it's getting worse because he knows he cannot hide the degree of swelling. That's why he's sitting behind the desk. Well, he also has chronic kidney disease, which is also contributing to the swelling in the feet and ankles. I can't tell you how many times I have seen a patient in their home because they were hospitalized for AKI, or acute kidney injury. The kidney injury was caused by nephrotoxic medications, namely diuretics, spironolactone, Bumex, Lasix. The president is definitely getting sicker. We know he's not going to change his diet because he's such a fucking idiot. I think he's going to be around for 6 to 8 months tops. Thank you for your attention in this matter.
All right, I want to come back to you and talk about this for a minute, because obviously this guy is like what we just talked about. Even though he's a cardiologist, he hates Trump. Obviously, in his set, the way he's talking about Trump, like he doesn't care.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious. I mean, you come at this from a professional point of view, but you're like, cursing and stuff like that. The president is obviously TDS, so it could be skewed a little bit if they came at it with with just a, I do this all the time. These shows, I keep it to a great extent, middle of the road. That's why I have a lot of people from both sides that watch this. I do hammer the other side a little bit because, they have basically fallen into darkness to a great extent. And I'm trying to help them lovingly wake up.
Yeah.
So, so somebody sent that it is Minneapolis in Minnesota. Is a major city in Minnesota. So that's Tim Walz. Yeah.
Right.
So
that's it.
another TDS person, former military. We saw him dressed up as a cowboy dancing around in what was obviously a hallway with a lot of homosexual men wandering around through there. So it's satanic, a lot of the stuff that the Democrats are into, unfortunately.
So regarding, it could be medication derived, but like we showed on screen a week or two ago, he's got biofilm in the teeth. And I want to discover this for everybody for next week. We're going to look at his body through a body scan. And I want to see if he got vaccinated as well, because those are also the exact symptoms of the COVID jab. And so could it be diuretics? Yeah, we've seen that with people like taking excess diuretics. It'll do the same thing. But so what if it's compounding? What if we have like this triple double where he's on diuretics and he's also has this degradation of his circulatory tree because of the jab, and also because of biofilm bacterial infection from his mouth, or at his age, it's very common for it to be in the cardiovascular tree anyway. And then medicine would treat it, They wouldn't fix it. They wouldn't heal him. They would treat the symptoms with these blood thinners and stuff like that that breaks down your circulatory tree. So yeah, this guy could be right. It could be just this medicine by itself, but I think it's usually cumulative. There's a reason why they're using the medicine in the first place, and that's generally because there's a cause, which is bacterial biofilms in large part. But I'll have that for everybody next week. We'll test his arms and see what's going on, if he got a vax or not. So we'll be able to know. Like Gavin got one, and a lot of people got them because, well, millions, because we were lied to. So let me bring you to this prophecy, and hopefully you can see my screen again.
So Linda Higginbotham has said it's the heavier Trump, not the real one. There's several Trumps. The real one is in protection. I agree with that. So when you do your testing, which one you're going to test?
Yeah, a good point. Maybe I should like run it past you and several people to make sure I get the real one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you're doing the test, you can ask that question.
Yeah.
But the one that we're mostly, if not completely, we're seeing a different Trumps. There is a real Trump, and he is safe. And I said this long ago, and I just got so much hate, I just backed off on it because people weren't ready for it, evidently. But I think a lot of people are starting to see there's different Trumps out there now. They're starting to get it.
Okay.
So, we can kind of, talk about it a little bit here. So I hope you guys don't get triggered by it. I know a lot of you guys are just like, it's all Trump and nothing but Trump. And I'm really of that opinion as well. But we have to look at, do we really want the real Trump? Like when you saw that one Trump that was at Butler that supposedly they shot at, which they didn't. It was basically a setup because they knew that he was going to be assassinated. So they basically controlled that. They came in and completely controlled that.
Right.
And set it up as just like it was supposed to be. And they won. That was not Trump. All right. And it's obvious that was not Trump. So, I'm not trying to convince you guys. I'm just showing from my experience, and I have a lot of experience. I have a lot of ways that I look at different things on a much, much deeper level. So if you're not ready for that, that's fine. If you're just, it's all Trump or nothing but Trump, I'm not going to say you're bad, right?
Yeah.
So you're still in the game. That's fine. So
yeah,
keep focused. Be very observant, and we're trying to give you guys a bigger picture. So this is obvious. The one guy playing Trump. I think there is a guy that's playing Trump that is showing these signs, and is this on purpose? I think there could be something in that. So just be aware. As we go deeper into this, I'll give my insights as well, my intuitive insights. I haven't shared those yet, so we'll see. As you share, if I'm ready to reveal my insights.
Yeah, I would like to hear those as everyone's ready, because I'm one of those where I'm not connected enough and maybe even spend enough time with you to see more of your insights, because I'm like, I see Trump and I'm not really spending a lot of time looking at it, or I just don't have the understanding that you do. So I'm kind of one of those, like, everybody's Trump. It's all Trump. But my feeling is like, okay, so even if it's Trump, like, I don't really know. It's still like, I don't want anything to happen to him, and whoever it is. And
even his doubles. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish the best for his doubles.
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
it's a tough job. Right.
I can't imagine. I really can't. Like, it's unbelievable what it's become for him, more than anyone else I've ever seen in my entire life. And maybe in hundreds and hundreds of years, what's been done to him is just incredible. But Hosea, if this is about Trump, and I think it is, both of these, says, thus it should be done to you, O house of Israel, because of the evil of your wickedness. At dawn, spring of 26, the sovereign of America is cut off. And then Zechariah says in a little different way, what are these wounds in your hands? And he shall say, because I was wounded at home by those who love me. So this is also a prophecy for Yeshua, Jesus, but also I think prophecies are cyclical, not linear. So they happen in different shapes and forms throughout different millennia. In other words, they apply to everybody at different times. But he says, "O sword, awake against my shepherd," who I believe is Trump, "against the man who is my companion." I believe Father put him into office, obviously. Declares Yahweh of hosts, "Smite the shepherd and let the sheep be scattered, but I shall turn my hand upon the little ones." I'm going to go ahead and come back to you now. So if that's actually about Trump, we're looking about the time frame that doctor said, about 8 months, which makes it's kind of interesting, at least to consider. That if it's Trump, then I think what Zechariah is saying is the sheep would be us, the conservative people, perhaps the only conservative people on the planet, who are the ones that are waking up, and we're not going along with it anymore. And if the shepherd is cut off, and he's obviously a shepherd for our belief and our movements, then the sheep are scattered again. I've even thought about that. What happens if they take him out or something like that? Oh God, we're back to the deep state, maybe running things. I don't know, but it would look very difficult for us. Yeah.
Yeah. So like the last time he was in office, I predicted there would be a health scare about midway through, and that was where, remember, he went to, I think, Bethesda, Walter Reed. So we went to Walter Reed. I was literally there at the and just outside the White House, and I saw the helicopter leave, and I was like, this is being staged, because they already knew that they were going to try and kill him. Remember, a lot of his staff got COVID, so they had already made an attempt to infect everybody with a very
virulent form.
Exactly. I was like, should I say that
Yeah.
word virulent? maybe it's too big a word. Thank you. So virulent, very deadly, potentially. We didn't see anybody die because I think they had a heads up. And kind of like we saw with the staged shooting in Butler, I think some of those people were staged to be sick. And of course, the guy that was at Walter Reed, that got in the presidential vehicle and came out and started waving. That was not Trump. There was the real Trump that came out and made statements. There was the real Trump that came back to the White House and showed that he could breathe, took a big breath, and waved at everybody. So we see occasionally, Trump will come out, the real one. That will bring him out into the public view. That's happened several times. It's not mostly at all. So he's kept in safe locations quite often. Right now, when I look at Trump, he's still alive. He's still healthy.
Good.
Now remember, we have great, through the intuitive wellness line, we have great stuff for everybody.
Trump.
But Trump has stuff that's on another level, right? Way higher, So those technologies will be released at some point when the deep state is taken down, and can no longer manipulate those or cancel those or talk bad about them, whatever. So we'll still be on top of all that stuff, but at this point, he has really good care. Now, when I look at a lot of people in the deep state, they are gone. They're no longer alive, right? So there's a lot of them that have already been taken care of, and I've had people alone that have talked about that. Sheila Holm has been on. She's talked about that. I'm not going to like go into like this person. Then everybody gets into a frenzy about if I'm right or not. We'll see. You'll see. Right. So just be aware that this stuff is going on. President Trump will go through another period where they're trying to kill him. Right. They're constantly trying to kill him, of course. Yes. But the white hats and so forth are keeping him safe. And they're 5 steps ahead of the deep state, 5 steps or more, right? So the deep state thinks they got him. It's like, go, all hands on deck, go, and then we get another batch of them, and take them out. And that's a lot of times that's hidden from the public. But this is an ongoing war. We've been in it for a while. It's an information war for the most part, but war as we're in it right now. Has a lot of different variables compared to kinetic wars of the past, right? Because the deep state has used kinetic wars for thousands of years to influence and control humanity. We're getting ready to go into a period where there's not going to be any more wars. So this is another thing the deep state is going to lose, and they're going to lose money on not having that.
Yes.
The border being sealed, they've lost, human trafficking, drug trafficking, arms and all the kind of stuff that they, made lots and lots of money on. They're losing all that. So very possibly we're going to see a market crash, which they are going to engineer because it's all their money. So a lot of people are going to get caught in that. And so let's go a little bit deeper. What else you got?
Well, you brought up something just now about, as the borders cut off and the child trafficking has dramatically decreased. We have a close friend who works with the district attorney's office. A couple of weeks ago, she said, "Hey, you guys, keep your eye out because they're working harder internally." We had an event out here you may have heard of, just right out here in Southern Cal, where purportedly this mother was attacked in a parking lot while she was changing the diaper of her baby. And so this DA said that they're attacking parents. They're trying to recover their losses from the border shutdown by coming after our kids locally. So I don't say that to scare anybody, but like be on yellow and teach your kids, talk to your kids about it, be on yellow, help your kids to learn how to be aware at all times. So this guy apparently just walked up, punched this lady in the face, knocked her out, and took her kid. And so this is something that the DA said is happening now, like right here where we live. Now, Michael, it turns out that this case was horrific. They just discovered that the parents actually killed their own child and then covered it up by making it look like a child abduction case. So it's really scary. Keep your eyes peeled. And like with the school shootings, I don't even know. Like, I personally feel like homeschool your kids. It's time. Get them out of the public crap schools and do it yourself. A wise man always told me, you can't pay someone enough to do something you don't want to do yourself. And I empathize with that struggle of wanting to put our kids in school, but and the way things are getting, the way they're trying to teach our kids from this deep state perspective, especially in California. I'm inclined just to encourage people just to get their kids out of school.
Yeah, or move. There's a lot of people that are moving, unfortunately, for California, and those people in California that love all those services that California gives them.
Oh yeah,
so
great.
That's happening in Louisiana. I don't know if it's Baton Rouge or I think it's Baton Rouge. There's like a very wealthy group of people in Louisiana. I think it's Baton Rouge. I'm just going to say that. It could be another one, but another city. But they're creating their own city. The wealthy are basically leaving the city because all of their money is going to people that don't work.
Yeah.
Use services that, and they're living high on the hog. And all the things, like police services and all the different things that we as normal people would like to have and expect, they're not being provided. So they're going to they're creating their own city, and they're going to move. So now all the people that are in Baton Rouge, if that's the correct state or correct city, are in an uproar because their money source is leaving, and they're like, "Oh no, no, no," and it's just kind of like the racist thing,
Right.
blacks and whites. So the blacks are like, all in uproar. We don't. How can they do this? And then there's like, people in the black community are like, what do you guys expect? You like been doing all this stuff and getting all this free stuff, and people are tired of it. So it's a nice little battle that's going on a statewide. It's happening in California. So we're gonna probably see more of that happening over the next year or two.
Yeah.
Until these big cities basically are brought under control. And then, I think people will start to move back into them or in the environments and so forth. A lot of people just don't want to come into the big cities anymore. I've been talking about this on my shows for a little bit, and I see the comments from like Illinois, because they're talking about how Chicago is basically next on the list for, National Guard to go into. There are people saying that we haven't gone to Chicago for like a decade. And we live, like 20 miles away. We used to go there all the time. But that's what we're seeing in a lot of big cities these days. It's pretty sad. So we do need to take these cities and clean them up. That's another thing the deep state is going to resist. And that's why I said over 5 years ago, when people asked me if there's going to be a civil war, I said, no, there won't be a civil war, but we'll lose a lot of cities. And so the deep state is going to just lock these cities down, their last bastion of control, their last people that they have that still believe in them, and fight to the end.
That we just had an oral scan from Chicago, and she said that after the exam, we do a face-to-face Zoom. She said it's incredibly bad, kind of like Los Angeles in Chicago. Like nothing like it used to be. She's like, you can't go walking down downtown Chicago to get a pizza. She's like, just a few weeks back, some of her cousins came over and they did that, and they got accosted right downtown trying to have pizza. So yeah, you're right. But I've often thought, and I had some friends who did this. They had a small church and 200 or 300, and in that church, they created their own school. And then their kids, all these, dozens of families, all their kids came to their schools. Their parents were the teachers in their own school, and it doesn't cost any money. It's really cheap, so that their funds could go into their own little community, their own church. They raised their kids like the way they wanted to. And that's an idea for people who want to homeschool, where it's kind of isolated. Come into a community or create your own group of parents who are like-minded, and they're like tired of it as well. I'm sure there's a lot of parents for sure in California that are like, we're done with this. And so the natural place would be to do it in a church. And I don't even, just a thought, what would even stop a parent from starting to go to a church and say, hey, here's an idea, let's try this. And so the power's still in our hands, like we've talked a lot, to manage our own individual lives and be really personally responsible. And I'm not saying I do it all, but these are really great ideas to talk about. I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah. So my son and I were coming back from a trip overseas, and we were routed through Chicago, and we had a period of time, like I think eight or 10 hours, something like that. So we decided, and we got in like later for dinner. So we decided to go to a nice restaurant in downtown Chicago, steakhouse, very, very nice place. And it was great. I mean, all the beautiful people were there, that area of downtown Chicago was like very nice. Driving into it was like pretty shady. So there's still beautiful spots that are there in all these cities,
Yeah.
and they hold them up as like, see, we have like, you know, these great cities, but for the most part, in Chicago, if you look at the crimes, you're seeing like over 500 people died from gunshot wounds, I think, last year. So this talk from the you know, the mayor of Chicago saying that people are going to rise up against the people that are going to come to save them. They're not going to allow that. So, and then of course, you know, I call him Prickster, but Prickster saying we're going to fight this. We're not going to let the federal government come in and take over our beautiful city. It's
Right.
like, so there's your example of what I've been saying.
Yes.
These big cities are going to fight to the end, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if that's what you want, that's what you get.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, it's almost disgusting to me that Trump, you know, even though what we hear about it, like, he even has to consider sending, you know, National Guard into a city to help protect people. That's like unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's
and,
what you.
and so another thing that the National Guard is being look here, while underground in all these big cities, they're taking down the underground transportation systems, like Teresa's talking about here. I heard that weapons are being transported in underground tunnels to cause an attack on New York City. Yes, so that's another reason why they're moving into these particular cities, because there's a lot of underground stuff. Like we said, yeah, they've stopped the all of the child trafficking coming over the border.
Yeah.
But in these cities, they're getting desperate, and they're like
Yes.
you were talking about. They're snatching kids. What didn't we talk last week about? All these kids that had disappeared from one city, like 22. I forget which city it was, but there was I think it was Virginia. There was reports like, and they're not talking about it.
No.
It's like that should be like national headlines, but of course,
know.
but it's completely being suppressed.
There was even, that reminds me of a guy tried to help whose child was taken away from CPS back in a very corrupt county in Florida. I won't name it right now, but all his children were taken, and he was just grieving and fighting and struggling in the legal arena to try to get his kids back. And he revealed to me once, Michael, that from that county, like, so that was like, it was a county in Florida. And that time, even the governor was sort of in support of this, like a deep state governor, that the Tennessee state troopers, who would be like the highway patrol, had found like an unmarked mass grave of like 80 kids that they eventually traced down to the CPS from this county in Florida. Just horrendous. And his dad, you know, was just horrified because his kids, he didn't know where they were. I mean, they totally removed all his rights that he was fighting for. And so I can only imagine the grief that he was experiencing, wondering if one of his kids was in this mass grave. So it was connected to this thing that you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's crazy. So it just reminded me of the Nashville school shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Now that person, also transgender, had I and other people that are experts in shooting looked at that and said that was all stage stuff. So we're still going to see that we're still going to see that from the deep state as well.
Yeah.
Staged stuff.
Right.
And a lot of people have spoken out about some of these staged incidents, and they've gotten smacked. Like who's it? Jones, the Alex Jones. So Alex Jones, you know, went after one of them. We weren't going to mention here, but he basically went after one of them, and they just came out and they just sued him and destroyed his
That's right.
business
That's
and
right.
everything. So yeah,
That's right. They destroyed him.
Yeah.
Well, they tried.
or he agreed to it or something. I don't know. So, but his looks like he's still going strong. So he overcame that. So either made a deal or I don't know.
Yeah.
I watch everything. I'm
You do.
I suspect a lot of stuff.
You're great about that. I test everything, but it's not like what you're doing. It's in a little different dimension, but it's, well, I shouldn't say that. No, it's all in the spiritual biophotonic dimension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we can look at it and
Yeah.
get deeper information.
Yeah. Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah. So it's happening all over the world. This type of stuff.
Yeah.
America, of course, they know that if America wins the deep state war against the deep state, then it goes worldwide, and that's why everything's going to be thrown at America now. And they have been, but they have been successful.
Yeah. It's really been this war. I would venture to say that it's been from day one when our fathers and forefathers came over here. It's been under attack, and now it's like I think what I'm hearing you say is like it's a do or die moment. It's either whoever ends up on top is going to dominate from here on out. And
yeah, the white hats end up on top. That's done. It's already in. It's a done deal. However that looks, going forward, it's going to change radically. We can't guess the short term, but the long term is a win. So
yes.
And a lot of people are just going to go, well, we're going to win, so I'm not going to get involved.
Yes. Thank you. So thank you. Right.
That's going to continue it, unfortunately, longer. So the win is in, but unfortunately, it's going to be a long-term win. It's going to be more people get on board, more people get involved, more people wake up, and that continues for well over a decade.
It's almost like, remember the tail end of the movie, I think it was the Lord of the Rings, the Return of the King movie, where it's like they had to go through that incredible pressure, and then eventually everybody, like you just described, everybody had to get involved, and then right at the end they won. It almost feels like that's how it's going to go.
Yeah.
So the victory comes when everybody makes the decision to become involved. And you've called it like when people wakey, there's not much choice. You have to get involved.
Yeah, and it's gonna hit some people pretty hard.
Yeah.
But all of us in that military roundtable, we all saw something pretty major coming.
Yeah.
In this year, in the last part of this year, right, going forward.
Yeah, I see that.
It remains to be seen what exactly that is, as I do my best to call them out so we can stop them. They have a lot more ready to pull out and use. Probably something that is really going to catch a lot of us off guard, but we'll see. So yeah, Lenny 777 says pray. So that has a lot of a very positive effect on a negative environment. So if we can keep people in a positive state of mind, which is going to be extremely difficult, I believe, going forward, then we can overcome them. But they are masters at causing fear, panic, and anger and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see.
And hopeless. Yeah. I'll leave it at that. That's a good word. Yeah. They're masters at that. And I guess contrary to that, we have to be the masters of the hope, of the endurance, of the patience, almost like a suffering, if you will, the suffering in the patience to overcome. I don't, when I think about like generations before me, I've had it pretty easy. your experience in life was much more difficult and stressful in terms of, the war that we're experiencing than mine has. So it'll be a very difficult awakening even for me as I sort of foresee with you what's coming. But we can't lose that hope. It has to be the thing that drives us through, I think, at that enduring, patient hope in the middle of suffering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, unfortunately, that's the next subject, and that's you get 27 peer-reviewed doctors, 1/3 death by vax by 2028.
Yeah, so that was, I'll just click on it real quick and then I'll come right back to you so people can see it. This is a post by Alex Jones. We were just talking to him. 27 peer-reviewed doctors stated that 100% of those who are vaccinated will die by 2028 due to the mRNA tech in the vaccines. And I'll come back to you. So we've talked about this over and over again, but there's that third, there's that plague, that there really is no plague separated from a biological release. And we've been over this many, many times. But and that leads me to this next one where the government's reporting that let's see, chronic illness and degenerative issues are exploding. Here it is. Why is nobody talking about this? So why are more and more Americans are becoming disabled? So according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, revealed that 1.1 million Americans have been added to the disability rolls in just the last 3 months, with like an additional 234,000 added just last month. So we're seeing this incredible spike, and I have no doubts it's connected to everything we've been talking about, but the vax, biofilm, and things that can't be eradicated. As we get time, I don't know if we have time today, but I'm going to share this, and then we can go into detail in the future about it. But here's what Alex Fleming said again. Now, this was like in 1950, you guys, when he won the Nobel Prize for medicine for discovering antibiotics or penicillin. And he said, don't use it. He said, if you do, this will be it right here. So it brings me to a quick story about a case we had just this week. Now, this was like an elite level of clientele. This woman's husband runs a trauma center for a major hospital in our area. And she had access to so Loma Linda University Medical Center has the nation, really the world. They have this cardiac unit that's like renowned. And so one of the top cardiologists told her, we can't see anything. We can't find anything. We in our CAT scan or X-ray, we see your congestion in your lungs. We don't know what it is. And after we oral scanned her and then we body scanned her, and we reached right over into Michael's store and we started putting on her these doses. In 5 days, she's like, I'm feeling, I can start sleeping. She said, my stress, I can feel it declining. She came to us, Michael, she had a resting pulse of 110. Imagine that. And
Wow.
yeah, can you imagine?
Mm-mm.
Just
Wow.
off the charts. And so that was from bacterial biofilm oral that had gone into her body. And this is the black hole. And so we have like so much to detail about that in the future. But these cases are so helpful because we can talk about people that are having success all the time. And the bacterial biofilm is the black hole. Let me read this, what Wikipedia says about black hole. A black hole is a massive, compact, of course they say astronomical object. I contend in this case, it's not biofilm. So dense that its gravity prevents anything from escaping. And I say That is the exact definition of what Alexander Fleming was talking about. It will be the death of mankind. So the black hole is the bacterial biofilms that keep anything from escaping. Dentists can't see them. Doctors can't see them. They can only see the results of them over time. So I hope that's kind of sinking in and makes sense to people. So that when they CAT scan you, they X-ray you, over time they'll start damaging your tissue. So then it will start appearing. And most of the time now, it's not showing up in blood tests, in urine samples, or anything, unless it goes into like an eruption where it looks like a volcano and puts planktonic bacteria into your urine, your blood, or into your organs or something. So this is the black hole, and this is what we're up against. And I'm so excited about being able to be at the tip of the spear, the cutting edge of the spear, to help people to overcome this. I guess that explains why we're not giving me disability for my hip surgery. Yeah, Trish. Yeah, could be. A lot of time, well, the hip surgery is a result of a biofilm.
Wow.
Okay. So a long time ago, probably Trish, when you were a child, you had ear, nose, and throat infections, strep, gut issues or something like that. It could have been one or two infections, and then it could have been a cavity. It could have been a mercury filling. Anywhere that the biofilm can get hosted and start, and then it starts sharing itself. And then over time, it creates a tremendous lactic acid response. So the bacteria over time create a lot of acid in the body, and the body, it lives in an emergency state for a long time. And the emergency is that when the body's trying to repair itself at night, the heart, liver, kidney, the vital organs, the brain, the lungs, the liver, they all go into the bone, the structure, the hip, to get minerals. Makes sense? And
so she's been depleted. So she's how about if someone that's an RN for a long period of time and they're exposed to a lot of this stuff, what is that going to cause problems too?
Yeah, it definitely could come from an exposure to a shot or receiving a shot. That's beautiful access for biofilm, parasites, viral toxins, chemical toxins. Yeah, it could be really any of those things. But like we'll talk about what I'm going to be doing in the next few weeks, but it's all part of your life's history. So when your hip starts degenerating in pain, there's a story behind it. It's not like all of a sudden that you have degenerative bone issues or degenerative hip issues. It's part of our life story. There's reasons, causative reasons that have happened in our lives to create that environment over time. And I think that's the plausible deniability. So then medicine comes in and looks at, oh, you got this. You have osteo, you have this disease, you have this illness, and it's really not. They're observing the results of what's wrong. And so then they're treating that symptom, the results of what's wrong, i.e. could be hip replacement or whatever it is with any kind of disease or diagnosis. But it's really part of your life story. And so actually, that's part of the special for today is anyone who spends $500 in Michael's store on the Intuitive Wellness line or buys a family pack of the EMF Harmonizers is going to get, they can just register. There's a link below in the notes. If you grab one of those specials, either or, doesn't have to be both, then I'm gonna give you a live disease discovery class. I'm redoing the whole challenge again. Wow. Give that to you free, and it's going to be live. It's going to be 1 or 2 sessions. You're going to own it. I'm going to give it to you, and then I'm going to give you a live 1-hour Q&A. So everyone who signs up into the class. We'll be able to do this face to face where you can ask me questions, and just like Trish, and we'll talk about it live and how it happened and why it happened and how it progressed, how it became what it is today. Because our disease, our chronic health issues, like we just showed with the Bureau of Labor Management, where it's just spiking off the charts, and the death rates of the vaccinated are going to go crazy. We can still stop that.
Yeah.
And because we want to go back and find out who, what, where, how, when, and why it happened, and so that we can help fix that today. Yeah, there's another one. Great. Thanks for sharing that. So maybe, Trish, if you want, we can have a little chat, or maybe you can come into the live Q&A, do the special, and then we can talk about it a little bit. Because what if you could avoid having a new hip replaced? What if you could do it nutritionally by removing the biofilm, discovering where they're at, removing them, and then letting your body's remineralization happen naturally? That's what we want. So that we build that remineralization, and that would require me to talk about remineralization a little bit, because we think, oh, I'll just take minerals, and that's not how it works. But as we would rebuild and repair that hip, so maybe you can just completely avoid having another hip replaced. Wow. We talked about Keith like 2-3 weeks ago, that we oral scanned him, then we body scanned him, and he was in for a knee replacement, shoulder surgery, and like a double bypass. And he avoided all of that just by locating the biofilms, eradicating them, and doing it nutritionally. Yeah. Beautiful.
Very nice. So yeah, I see first 150 to spend 500 plus in the store. We'll get the Orbi Family Pack EMF Harmonizers. We'll get the newly released Disease Discovery, $497 value, plus 1 hour live Q&A session with Raphael. So awesome.
Yeah. So you know how to get to Michael's store, the EMFintuitivewarrior.com. I don't know if that's in the link, Michael, but the disease discovery registration for those who take the special is in the link also. So after you get the special, just run over, come back to the link and grab that link, and then just put your email in and your name, and you'll be in, and you'll get everything through the email. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Cool.
Awesome.
All right. Yeah. michaelkjaco.com. And then you go into Intuitive Wellness, and you get all of the specials like we're talking about. So.
Yeah.
And I use the honey every day, several times a day sometimes. I put it in my tea every day. The best honey I've ever used, by far. And I'm a honey aficionado, and it is by far the best. So that's, if you get nothing else, get that. Right. So
yeah. We have a cool story that just came in about the honey.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We had a listener who had a lot of cancer, skin cancer removed, and they took out like a huge chunk. I'll show you a picture next time, up the side of his head, like all the way down to the connective tissue. Looked horrible. I'm like, don't put anything on it that they recommended. You get the honey and you smear that on your wound, and I'm telling you, if you stay at it long enough, you won't have a scar. So we'll send you a result. We'll get some images in the future about how that works. Yeah, it's so beautiful. One of the things the honey does, you guys, is so you have a scar or an injury. And so not only is the honey like an antibiotic, but it acts like the skin. It carries the biophotons, the electrical current right through the missing tissue as if it's still there. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's incredible how the body works. So the scar leaves a missing chunk, and the honey like fills it in with energy and communication, the biophotons, so that the body thinks the skin is still there, and it just heals itself in that energetic dimension. And of course, we got them all patched up and on a couple of nutrients out of the store as well. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, look through those nutrients. Read up on them. They're magnificent. Of course, every day I'm using the collagen and the protein, and it's good stuff.
Is that why you look so good?
Yeah, collagen really makes a difference. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you too. I mean, you're even older than I am. I mean, we look like brothers, but you're even older. So that's pretty impressive. And both of us aren't like spring chickens, but we kind of look like it. So that's good.
Yeah, I love it. I have no doubts. I mean, I feel like I have some good genetics, but I'm telling you guys, I should be dead right now. And the nutrition has saved that and preserved that. And it's like, what a blessing. I just love having access to it. That's a good one. Yeah. Beautiful. She looks beautiful too.
Yep. Good stuff. Honey and yogurt. Wow. So I guess the different enzymes in them probably interact and.
Yeah. Rich in enzymes, rich in vitamins, living vitamins, has its biophotons, the light still in the nutrient, which is the first nutrient our body wants, are biophotons. Yeah, so it's fantastic. Love it.
Yes, we got the same barber. Bald and badass. That's good.
No, you guys, when I saw Michael, I'm like, no, I want to be like Mike. I'm cutting my hair off. I'm kidding. I don't have any hair either. Yeah, for sure.
All right, brother. So, it's a good time to stay healthy. Those of you that are here are obviously the people that I like to be around and are probably going to make a difference. Probably.
Amen.
Going to make a difference going forward. And, the consciousness rising golden age, it's going to be, a process, obviously. That process is going to try and be hijacked over and over again. So we need to be healthy. Who knows what they're going to keep throwing at us. We've already got something crazy thrown at us, and it's really affecting a lot of people, unfortunately.
Yes.
Trying to get those people to wake up that there are alternatives to overcoming, whatever. And who knows, maybe some of them didn't get the full bioweapon vaccine.
Right.
But I think towards the end, and probably if you're getting it still, you're probably getting the full bioweapon at this point. So there are alternatives to cleaning that out, and the intuitive wellness line is definitely one of those. That's a biggie.
So as you've talked about in the future, what that looks like for the current state of medicine is it's gone. If that comes to happen where everybody vaccinated is not going to make it past 2028 without some really critical, precise intervention, that phase of medicine is gone. Self-destructing.
Yeah, it's totally been exposed as best we can. Get JFK Jr. doing it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, but I was just talking with my son-in-law Dan, and we were kind of like talking about how, Lucifer, he wanted everybody to get vaccinated, and I said, that kind of reminds me of that one video or that one movie, Braveheart, where the king is telling his military, head of his military, send in the archers. And his head of his military, but sire, we will kill some of our men. And he's like, yes, but we'll kill them too.
Right.
That's very much the bioweapon, guys. So you're seeing everybody's dying from it. So the minions of Lucifer, the deep state, a lot of them, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, they're the minions of the deep state. So bye-bye to me. They're bye-bye.
Bye.
all the Hollywood greats are dying on a massive scale.
Yes.
They're the ones that came out and got videos of them taking the shot and, you know, trying to denounce everybody that wasn't getting the shot. The same with the, you know, musicians and just politicians.
Yeah.
Not so much the politicians. You notice that the politicians basically voted themselves; they didn't have to get it. So, but everybody else is like, you know, dying on a massive scale now.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yeah. And we're going to see it even get more massive. It's just
wearing everybody's immune systems down, you know, as time goes on.
It does. Yeah. Now I'd like to share something about oral scans. We've temporarily closed it because it got full, but I'd like to just share with you guys. We're running a few days behind what I hoped to, and I'm sorry about that. But I just lost my mama, so we've been.
No, you lost your dad and now your mom.
My dad.
That happens so often. You know, I've saw it in my family. My grandma, grandfather, within a year. My mom and dad within a year. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is pretty quick. It was like, I don't know, I want to say 6-8 weeks. She went.
Sorry to hear that. Yeah.
Fast. She was like, I'm coming home. But it's kept us really busy. So be patient with me. I'm connected with you, and we'll get right back to you guys.
Yeah.
Thank
you. It's just a lot of people are deciding not to go forward. You know, we're not seeing a lot of kids being born. It's just this period.
Yes.
I think we get through it. People are going to start to do the family thing again.
Yes.
But probably not for a little while.
Not for a little while.
Yeah. So we're seeing the birth rates and a lot of throughout the world basically going down.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why they tried to bring into Europe and here in America all the illegals basically to counter that, you know, steep departure from birth rates. Right. Now, some of that was from the vaccination.
Yeah.
Not some of it, a lot of it. A lot of it.
And a lot of it was from, you know, we had 20 years of abortions where we lost a lot of it.
That too, yeah.
Our babies too. Yeah. Yeah.
Very sad.
Thank you guys. Love you.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying sending their condolences. So thank you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. You know, we're here to, like, you know, it's not all about, you know, selling the Intuitive Warrior line. It's mostly about keeping you guys informed. Those of you guys that do help contribute, you know, keeps us going so that we can share this information.
Thank you.
Keep you guys informed. So thank you for everyone that does get those, because you're going to be healthy and you're going to go forward, and we're going to be all now, you know, changing the world for better. So thank you for getting involved. And anyway, if you're just watching, that helps too, because you're probably talking about it. So thanks to everyone.
We're the ones. It's us.
Yeah. We're the ones. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, we're not waiting for somebody to come save us. We're the ones. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Lots of love. See you guys next time.
All right. Lots of love.